Hey, it's Tricia Mae, or May, Myself, and I. This podcast will be about performing and some of the anxieties that can come up during. Specifically, this one will be about confidence or lack of confidence. I was feeling kind of down, so I decided to go swimming. So that's why you hear some crickets and maybe a little bit of background noise, but I thought it's a nice vibe. But yeah, I've basically been performing almost my entire life, especially at the performing arts high school I went to. I'd always get the question, are you nervous? Like, how do you even go on stage and not shit your pants, And I would tell people I got used to it, especially with all of the tools they gave us. And I kind of learned to turn the anxiety and the nervousness energy into excitedness and performing energy. And for years I really got a lot of experience and didn't even really have to think twice about going up there and putting myself out there. But I would say that did change. I remember the point that it changed. I remember it changed when I realized that, trigger warning, I had gotten groomed, and it's been over a year since I've sat with the reality of what had happened to me, and I feel like I lost a huge part of myself, and a part of that was my confidence, and I had worked so hard on it, and it was part of the reason that I had so much trouble in my first semester and had to go home. And then my second semester was my first real semester at NYU, and performing my first time in front of all of those people that hadn't really heard me sing before, I definitely was nervous beforehand, but I got really sad after. One of the times I got on stage, I actually started crying after. It was my first classical performance in front of those people, and I felt like I used to be able to go up there and just sing my heart out. That time I felt like I was so held back. I really had the air and the breath to sing because I just felt like I lacked the confidence in myself. I didn't cry because I thought that I did horrible. I cried because I realized how much I had changed in that sense of being confident to not. And luckily I don't deal with stage fright, but in a sense that's kind of what it turned into. It's like putting myself out there requires me to be so vulnerable again, and I feel like I've been so vulnerable for so long, and I just wanted to shut myself out. And I was scared that I would lose my passion because of how I felt when I was performing, that it didn't give me as much joy anymore, and it just reminded me of the progress that I had lost. But I don't want to think of it as progress I'm losing. It's just that I went through something and am going through something that really shook me to my core, and I'm healing from it one aspect at a time. Originally, when I went back to NYU, my plan was to switch out of the vocal performance major. However, that didn't go to plan, so that means I'll still be performing next semester. And actually, I feel better about it. And I think it did help that I have supporters on the West Coast and the East Coast watching me and reminding me that I sound beautiful and that I am a performer in my own way, even if it changes throughout the years. And maybe I'll just have to find my spark again. That trauma I talked about that really changed me, I don't want it to define me, and it doesn't define me. And I think I'm still a performer at heart, and I'm excited to see where I'll take myself. I'm not sure how my body will react the next time that I perform, but I'll fake it till I make it, just like I did in the past. For me, honestly, faking it till you make it actually does work. I remember as a kid in elementary school and middle school, I was the most insecure person ever. I would wear the hugest sweatshirts that covered my whole body, and anytime I smiled or I laughed, I would put my hand in front of my face so that no one could see my true smile or my teeth, and I would want my hair to be in my face, so that also kind of the same way, I just wanted to cover myself up. I would also literally have on my lock screen of my phone quotes that said, "I'm ugly, I'm not worth it." It was so deprecating. I've had my therapist for maybe 8 to 9 years now, and he would have me write affirmations. He told me to put them on post-it notes so that I could put them anywhere that I could easily see them, and I think I have to remind myself that just in that process of slowly finding ways to feel more and more comfortable with myself and my body and my appearance, I'll be able to do it again for my performances and showing up on stage. I don't want to lose hope for myself. It takes a lot of courage to have hope, and I've gone farther than I'll admit to myself. I'm not sure what else to say, but I do want to say thank you to everyone who has ever watched my performances or just left me a cute compliment under one of my posts. It really, really helps and means more than you would think. Here's to me and my next performance. Bye.